Good evening, afternoon, or morning, depending on where you are joining us from, whether you are sipping your morning coffee, wrapping up your day, or somewhere in between. We are thrilled to have you with us for today's LinkedIn audio event on climate smart solutions for built environment. I'm your host, Kailash Chaudhary, and I'm excited to guide you through this insightful discussion. Before going forward with the discussion, let me introduce my esteemed panelist. The first panelist I have today is Major General Dr. Sripal Visist Seva Medal. He is a graduate civil engineer with masters in structures from the IIT Roorkee. General has done his doctorate in nuclear resistant structures from University of Pune. He has also done many research projects on first of its kind in India on nuclear protection technology. From there, he has earned the tag of Bunkerman of India, as he is considered the father of nuclear protection technology in India. Currently, he is the strategic consultant to the Government of India for nuclear, biological, and chemical protection technologies. Beyond the prestigious Visist Seva Medal by the President of India, he has earned many national and international awards like Leading Scientist of the World 2011, International Einstein Award, Top 100 Scientist of the World, Asian Excellence Award 2023, Prominent Researcher Award 2023, the Best Green Technology of the Year 2023, and the Best Air Purification Solution of the Year 2023. Welcome, General Sripal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kailash Chaudhary.
And my second panelist is academician Dr. Saurabh Verma. Dr. Saurabh is Faculty of Sustainability and Data Analytics at prestigious RICS School of Built Environment, Amity University, Noida. His research work on sustainable lifestyle has been recognized by Niti Aayog among top 50 thought leadership ideas on sustainable lifestyle for the globe. Dr. Saurabh is also a faculty development trainer in the field of quantitative techniques, machine learning, and data analytics. Professor Verma is also a corporate trainer on topics related to sustainable green buildings, ESG, and green leases in the commercial real estate. Welcome, Dr. Saurabh.
Thank you, Kailashi. Glad to be here.
Thanks, sir. And the next panelist is Mr. Bhavesh Swami. Mr. Bhavesh has more than 2 decades of experience working with national, international organizations, government bodies, policy institutes, and NGOs in various capacities. Currently, he is working with the Climate Reality, an initiative by the Nobel laureate AI Al Gore of US that is spearheading the climate change conversation and associated mitigation adaptation action across globe. His organization is working in the area of decarbonization, low carbon pathways, afforestation, rainwater harvesting, and green campuses under the South Asia branch. Currently, he is working on many national and international environmental projects. His efforts got featured in the India's submission at UNFCCC as a project worth emulating during COP21 at Paris. With this, uh, I end my introduction of the panelists. Welcome, Bhavesh sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Nice to be at this panel.
So let's delve into the further discussion with their diverse expertise and perspective, I'm sure that today's conversation is going to be truly enriching. As we embark on this journey of exploration, feel the energy and excitement in the air. Let's dive into the exciting world of sustainable built environment and smart solutions, from achieving net zero emissions to efficient HVAC systems. We will explore all, be it net carbon, be it carbon capture, energy efficiency, and everything. For the participants, please remember your participation matters to us. Don't hesitate to share your thoughts, questions, and insights in the chat. We will be sure to address them during our interactive question and answer session at the end, or in between. Also, we can take your this thing questions if you raise your hands there. So sit back, relax, and let's ignite our curiosity as we navigate the fascinating landscape to the climate smart solutions for the built environment. My first question will be to Dr. Saurabh. So, Dr. Saurabh, achieving net zero energy building requires integrating many things like sustainable design, passive solar heating, neutral ventilation, high efficiency insulation, renewable energy systems, employing advanced technologies, energy for energy monitoring or optimizing the performance. So many things are there which are to be integrated. So how can we ensure that buildings are designed and constructed to achieve net zero energy consumption while maintaining a comfortable indoor environment? This question is to Dr. Saurabh. Yeah.
Great starting question, Kailash. So yeah, it's a very integrative process and it has to be inclusive. And first thing first, during design, we need to have clear scope of work defined, where clear roadmap is there, what we are here to achieve. So if it is net zero in energy, then what are the features we want during the design element, and having all the stakeholders involved from the design process following a integrated design. Few things like you mentioned, definitely passive techniques which relates to the orientation and the envelope of the building are key, and during design we can definitely take care of things, and active measures are further important so that we can reduce the energy performance index of the building. And of course, if we reduce the demand of energy and have high energy efficiency, then later we can have on-site and off-site renewables in place, which can truly help us to achieve net zero. So during design construction process also, we have to look at how we can make the construction process very energy efficient, and operations also is a critical phase where energy use can be minimized during the operations. So yeah, it's an integrative process. It's definitely a lot of stakeholders involved, but I think if the focus and the vision is clear, what we are here to achieve, it is possible. And thanks to the technology tools by which, we are able to achieve this integrative process.
Thank you, Dr. Saurabh. General Saab, do you have any say on this?
Yes, Kailash, in addition to what Mr. Saurabh has mentioned, you see, you must have heard the concept of green buildings. So,
correct.
So our aim in green building is to minimize the energy use and to maximize the use of the natural energy. Like even the orientation of the building is one of the important factor in which the natural sunlight should come, and the ventilation of the building should be so that the load on air conditioning is minimal. So there are different guidelines which are existing, and the authorities have also prescribed certain procedures and certain parameters. If you follow them, the building will become energy efficient. And energy efficient means obviously it will be a sustainable and it will be a step towards achieving net zero.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bhavesh, do you want to add anything on this particular topic? This question,
Thanks.
sorry.
Yeah, indeed. I wish to take a step backward and probably say that when you say almost half of our urban cities are yet to be built, which in itself shows the kind of scope that's available as far as the very energy efficiency factoring, the very net zero pathway that we wish to achieve, and probably showcase ourselves as a role model to similar other countries and geographies which get inspired by us. So when I say they, just the Delhi, Gurgaon or Chennai kind of built environment, it includes the recent cities, Indore kind of, the Hyderabad kind of cities that are emerging out, which in itself are showcasing how good things can be tackled in. And therein we see all these concepts building in, and I feel that the budding architectures and the associate stakeholders out there can do a great. On the technical part, I'll be more than happy to take this thing at a later stage.
Sure, sure, sure. Thank you. First question very well explained all by all of you. I also agree on this part. My second question, and this question or this topic particularly is very close to my heart, and I would like to ask this question from General Siripal. General Siripal, if we talk about planetary boundaries, all 9 planetary boundaries were assessed in the 2023.
Yes.
And as per the Global Tipping Point report launched in COP28, during the COP28 in December 23, out of 9, 6 boundaries we have already crossed. And even some report says that it is no longer possible to rely on emission reductions alone to return to the world to a safe and just operating space. So this is where we stand as of now, if we believe these reports. So in this situation, out of 4 R's, which we call in the climate change space, that reduction, removal, repair, resilience. So emission removal and repair is going to be crucial in managing the climate crisis if these reports are true. So General, could you elaborate on the importance of carbon capture technologies in mitigating the greenhouse gas emissions from the buildings especially, and how feasible these solutions are at the large scale? General Siripal.
Yeah. Thank you, Kailash Chaudhary. You have very well explained all the parameters. Most of the parameters you have touched. And you see, if you see the history, let us say from year 1000 to 2024 now. So in past so many years, the carbon dioxide level in environment for thousands and thousands of years, from year 1000 to about 1800 century, let us say, the carbon dioxide level in the environment was about 280 parts per million. This was the world average. But after start of the industrial era in 18th, 19th century, this has started increasing. And during past 3-4 decades, it is increasing at a very exponential rate. So today the world average has already crossed around 420 parts per million. This is the carbon dioxide content in the environment, in addition to other gases. And this is the worrisome figure. Now, I have extrapolated this figure. If we allow this carbon dioxide to increase at the present rate, then by 2090, it will cross a safe level of 800 parts per million. You know that ISRE and ASHRAE are the organizations internationally. They have prescribed that for human inhalation, the carbon dioxide level in the environment should not go more than 800 parts per million or maximum 1000 parts per million. Beyond that, it becomes a health hazard to human being. So by 2090, it will cross 805 parts per million. I have shown with my calculations. And if we still do not reverse it back, then by 2200, it will cross a very dangerous level of 5000 parts per million. This is estimated by engineers and scientists throughout the world. It means by 2200, at 5000 parts per million carbon dioxide in the environment, no human being or no life on this earth will be able to survive for more than 15 minutes. This is the estimation given in various studies and various codes, that 5000 parts per million of carbon dioxide, you can survive only for 15 minutes. After that, you will faint or you may even die. So this is a very dangerous situation which people around the world are now estimating, and that is what is worrying the entire world. Now the world has suddenly woken up. It means the life on this planet Earth is left just for about another 150 odd years. What will happen to that? It means if we want to keep our planet safe for our future generations, then we have to stop this rising trend, firstly, of carbon. And if possible, we have to reverse it back. We have to reduce the carbon even beyond zero. Why net zero? We should reverse it back. So that technology you are seeing all over the world, everybody is trying. But despite all the efforts of carbon reduction, carbon and other technologies, the carbon graph is rising continuously. If you see the graph, even from 2000 to 2024 now, in India, we have our carbon content in the air, we have increased by about 150%. China has crossed more than 200%. It is only USA and European Union, they are claiming that they have reduced their carbon content in the air by their carbon production by about 10 to 15%. And most worrying factors are India and China. And these are the two countries which are highly populated. Now, I have given a solution to this. Fortunately, I found a technology with which you can do carbon capture, and this carbon capture has to be human-based. More population, more effectively we can control it. So India and China are the two countries, if they are producing more carbon because of the population, then they can also reduce it to a large extent by using this population. Chaudhary, I have explained to you when you came to me that a human being, when we exhale and inhale the air, in one inhale and exhale, each person, each human being multiplies the carbon content in the air by 146 times. Because in natural environment, the carbon dioxide level is just 0.03 to 0.04%. In Delhi, it is now 0.05%. So this 0.05%, when we inhale and when we exhale it, then it gets multiplied. In exhaled air, the carbon content is 4.36%. It means in one inhale and exhale, which happens almost every 6 seconds, we multiply the carbon content in the atmosphere by 146 times. So this is what people are not catching. Everybody is talking of carbon emission by fossil fuels, by vehicles, by industries, but nobody is talking the carbon production by human beings. Now you can imagine how much carbon we will be producing, and we will be polluting the environment. The amount of carbon dioxide which one man generates, it requires 17 number of trees to absorb that carbon dioxide just by human being.
And this is my own carbon footprint.
And this is own carbon footprint. Each individual and carbon footprint. Then the carbon footprint by our animals, by our pet dog, by our car. Correct. That is extra.
Yes.
So so I have taken this, and I think we should convince I have tried to convince our Prime Minister Modi ji because he is a very effective leader. If he can collect the entire countryman and beat Thali and Tali during Corona, I think each countryman can be convinced that whatever carbon dioxide you are producing, at least you capture that. And in this technology, we are not only capturing this carbon dioxide, we are capturing other pollutants from the air. There are other 7-8 types of gases like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, even carbon monoxide, ammonia, and other gases in the environment which are harmful to human health. So we are capturing that, and after capturing, we are converting it into organic manure. You see, I will explain it. I wish there was a graph in front of you and me.
Yes,
You see what was happening from year 1000 to about 19th century, 1900 something. We were living comfortably on this planet, and the carbon dioxide level was 280 parts per million only. So why it was so? Because whatever carbon dioxide we were producing on this planet Earth, either by ourselves or by our industry or by our vehicles, this carbon dioxide was being absorbed by the natural system of trees and plants on this earth or even by the sea. So it was a sustainable cycle. But after 19th century, because of industrialization and because of our lifestyle change, it has increased tremendously, and that is what is causing the problem. And the second point I want to stress here, most of the people feel that this carbon dioxide increase is just by industries. No, it is by industries, and more so it is by the change of our lifestyle. This is also one of the major factors which nobody is considering. Human factor is the biggest factor, one of the biggest factors in increase of the carbon content in the environment. Why? Because we have changed our lifestyle. Now, if you go back by 10, 15 years, there was no AC in vehicles. Now every car has got a air conditioner. We need AC in our home, we need AC in our car, we need AC in our offices, we need AC everywhere, air condition. And what these air conditioners are doing? They are removing the heat from your room and they are throwing it outside in the environment. Correct. So for the layman, this is one of the global warming. Another is the carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide in the air means global warming, and global warming 100% is creating the climate change.
Correct, sir. So, Saurabh sir, any addition or anything from your end on this point?
Yes, I think that's why Modi ji so much emphasized, behavioral change, lifestyle for sustainable environment was the focus during COP26, what Modi ji laid out. And, there are many good ideas, but I think these ideas need to be translated into something tangible, some products. And definitely few ideas from Niti Aayog project, where I also submitted my proposal. They got funding, but I think a lot more needs to be done on the behavioral lifestyle than what we are talking about in terms of industries, automotives, and other reasons for carbon. So I totally agree with General Shripal ji that behavioral lifestyle is the major change which we need today. Thank you.
One more point I want to put. Can I, Mr. Kailash?
Please. Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. You see, though our government of India and all other governments, they are taking many good measures like grow more trees, use hydrogen, use electrical vehicles. But despite all these steps being taken for past over 20 years, you are seeing these steps are not new. These we are taking for past about 10 to 20 years. But despite taking all these steps, the graph of CO2 in the environment is not decreasing. It is increasing continuously. And a very surprising thing which happened during Corona, you must have seen that there was no industry running in India for good about 1.5 years to 2 years. The industries were almost, during lockdown, all industries were closed. There was no traffic on the vehicles. It was almost nil during lockdown period. But during lockdown period, also the CO2 content in the air did not reduce. the graph remained as it is. There was only slight change, momentarily low, and then again it started rising. So what was the reason? When there was no industry running in India, there were no vehicles running in India, why the graph of carbon dioxide content in air did not reduce drastically? Why? The
Correct.
reason is the lifestyle change, because we were staying all indoors, and while staying indoors, we needed energy, we needed air conditioners, we need all sorts of equipment running. So and it was the human beings obviously were creating the carbon dioxide. You will be surprised to know that when we discuss in all these seminars and conferences, most of the people discuss only the CO2 emission by fossil fuels. People are not considering the CO2 emission by human beings and by livestock. You will be surprised to know that 40% of CO2 emission of fossil fuel is by the living being on this planet Earth, means human and livestock. They create total about 28% of carbon dioxide in the environment. Fossil fuels create balance of the 72. So this 28% of 72 is almost 40% of what is produced by the fossil fuel. So this we must agree. And the solution which I have provided, second thing I observed that people talk very high in all these conferences, all discussions, very good presentations they give, but very less work on ground. There is nobody is giving a practical solution. Now
Exactly. This is my observation also, sir. I also observed these things. Yes. Agree.
Mine was the only paper for last 2 years. I am attending all national, international conferences, seminars. Mine is the only paper in those seminars which is suggesting a practical solution. And I am sure that without direct carbon capture, you cannot reverse this graph of carbon dioxide in the air. So you have to go for carbon capture. And for going for carbon capture, this responsibility of carbon capture has to be given to each and every individual, every citizen of the country, every citizen of the world. Because if we are producing so much of carbon dioxide and so much of carbon in the environment, which requires 17 trees, it is our responsibility to have some system. And I have suggested a system that each house should have at least equipment which removes carbon dioxide, which captures carbon dioxide from the air, equivalent to 17 number of trees. It is possible, and it is totally indigenous product. It is made in India, and it has been tested by the scientists of DRDO, Ministry of Defense, and it is going to be implemented very soon in India. In fact, I have already implemented this particular system in some of the government projects, but unfortunately we can't discuss them here. And it is running. It is running very successfully in those projects. That's why I'm so confident.
I know your products, sir. I studied a lot about this, about your project, about the carbon capture, and I 100% agree on this.
So this is one of the solutions.
Yes. So Bhavesh, what is your take on carbon capture?
So carbon capture as of now has been shown as the tech of future. You call a UNFCCC submission, and the biggest solution mentioned out there is carbon capture. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, as has been shared by my previous speakers also, the kind of CO2 emissions and the associated temperatures that have been observed right in the month of January and right across 2023, and the graph as a whole, the short-term temperature gains, unfortunately, are pointing towards the very irreversible damage that you mentioned. Now, where do we go out from here? The kind of negatives, sorry to say, use this word, carbon capture and storage has not seen light of the day as far as commercial projects are concerned till date. We are experimenting out in the labs itself. Now, how to relate it with the built environment? Good part is you do a retrofit, you do a new building, construct it in parallel to an already existing building. You get measurements as far as energy, as far as other parameters are concerned straight away on your fingertips. Now that's the positive as far as built environment is concerned. And probably that makes up for the case of energy efficient buildings, of net zero buildings on which we are relying and hopefully we are positive on. I repeat, when a majority of my built environment is yet to be built, energy efficiency and resource efficiency are only the way forward as far as mitigation and other efforts are concerned. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Bhavesh. Bhavesh, my next question also I would like to ask from you only, and this is basically when considering energy efficiency, as you are talking about, particularly in buildings. How do you prioritize the addressing scope of scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions? And are there a low cost strategies that can be implemented to reduce these emissions effectively? Because the cost
Fortunately,
matters in build environment, right, basically.
great,
So,
great question out there.
yeah.
So we happen to work with one of the biggest automobile manufacturers out here in India, and they were quite positive because they were exporting a lot of their product portfolio to European and other markets. Now, as soon as we asked for scope 2 emissions, unfortunately, as soon as a product enters their gate, they are least bothered about what is happening on other side of it. Now, good part, they are having competition of reduction on 1%, 2%, 3% depreciation as far as last year's production, CO2 emissions, and overall energy consumptions are concerned. But given 1% reduction observation, we are still a long way to go as far as scope 2 or scope 3 emissions are concerned. Considering Tatas and Mahindras of this world, as far as their CDP disclosures are concerned, I think we are doing good. But at the same time, as soon as I enter into the premises of their suppliers, we are not able to find the kind of uh, effort that ought to be there. Still a long way to go. So scope 2 has not been reached. Forget scope 3. Still a long way to go as far as these efforts are concerned. Maybe the kind of educational endeavors that probably Saurabh ji, Rajdeep ji are on the verge of taking those pathways, that's the only scope I see. As soon as I enter into the premises, that's the only production part that I'm interested in or concerned for. But if I'm preparing my students right from the beginning, अगर उनकी नींव ही हम strong कर दें, then probably we have a good scoping as far as 20-30 year horizons are concerned. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Bhavesh. So before going forward, there are two questions from the audience. Rajdeep, can you take them up? Rajdeep, are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Khader.
Welcome, Mr. Khader. Mr. Khader, you were having some question or something you want to add? Mr. Khader, you are on mute.
Sorry,
Yeah.
excellent. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity. And two practical
Yeah,
conversations
please go ahead.
happening. And yeah, the point which I would like to mention here is unless it comes to the individual accountability, it is kind of a lip service only. Maybe I think our tax regime also should have a kind of a carbon savings for individual. Unless we get it, the way Lieutenant Colonel is mentioning that the carbon dioxide is growing a lot, I think we should have time for having the tax regime with the carbon kind of reduction for each individual. Otherwise, it is very difficult to manage the show.
You are 100% right. I agree on this. Yes, it has to be individual driven. It cannot be fit for all type of system. Yeah, I agree on this. So this
Yes,
was only your
thank you.
point, or you want to ask some question also, Mr. Khadir?
This was the only point. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Khadir. So Rajdeep, take the another question also. There was another person, Shailendra. Shailendra, you are on mute. Please
Uh,
unmute yourself. Yeah.
Very good
Yeah,
evening,
Shailendra.
Jain.
Welcome. Yeah,
Welcome,
please go
sir.
ahead.
Thank you, Jain. Very good afternoon. Very good evening. And I hope you all
Good.
will be doing well. Sir,
Yeah.
although I have joined a little late, but there was a point regarding the policies.
Mm-hmm.
So, as per my experience and my exposure to environmental studies,
Mm-hmm.
there are a few flaws in the
Mm-hmm.
policies. And the reason behind that is we are actually following European norms. None of the
Okay.
demographically nor the natural resources and neither the
Mm-hmm.
requirement of technology,
Mm-hmm.
they and none of the thing meets out our actual needs. For
Okay.
example, some of the technologies what we require for J&K, that is
Mm-hmm.
entirely different for a coastal area, because
Right.
atmospheric conditions, that is much
Mm-hmm.
different. But as far as the US and the Europe is concerned, they all are having a uniformity, and they are able to handle one single policy. By latest example, I myself is a researcher also since last 27 years, and I'm also working in renewable energy. So we have tested a
Mm-hmm.
new technology over here, hybrid nanotechnology based power generation, DC generation system, and we were able to generate almost 51.6 ampere current with a 12-volt system in Leh Ladakh. And the solar system, solar concentration system, they both were nanotechnology based. And over there, we were capable to target for a 10 times power what we were getting from the sun, means 10x. But the same
Yes.
thing, what we tested over there in coastal area, that was 5 times. So there are
Yes.
different conditions. So we have to follow the not the European standard or the policies, but actually we
Mm-hmm.
have to consider the atmospheric and demographic conditions of our country, and we are supposed to handle the thing as per our need, and we have to make up the rules and norms as per ourselves, not the Europe. That was my point.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, you are right, 100% right. I also have the same point, because there is a this energy of sun is as per the climate, as per the environment of that particular geographical location, and these policies has to be driven by that particular effect. It's not a what I told earlier, also fit for all type of policies. I agree, Salinder, on this.
Sir, can
Thank you,
I
sir.
add one thing in
Yeah,
this?
yeah, please,
Sir,
please, please go ahead.
sir, basically, there are certain aspects of every field, whether any technology or any business or any curriculum. Under those aspects, if we are not initially taking steps from the grassroots level, then we will not be able to handle the things in much easier way, or to build a proper technology in future or the need of a future. Addressing a local issue. For example, I'm taking one example.
Yeah, yeah.
Nowadays, we are having for just take example of agriculture. There are more issues of burning of residues, but
Mm-hmm.
thereafter we are following the making other uses of that. I agree, but along with that, that residue in itself is a fertilizer, and no one is talking about that. If that is being crushed back and being mixed in the soil, the nutrition value of earth that will be benefited. No one is
100%,
taking of that.
100%, 100%.
And
Agree.
similarly, I am working with the state government of Haryana as sub-divisional engineer,
Mm-hmm.
and over here the kind of machinery we are using, most of the time what we are getting, there we have to make some amendments whenever we receive that. And after those amendments, we make them workable here. So these are the very
Okay.
live examples and my practical exposure. That was the point.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree, Shailendra, and it has to be an innovative solution and align with the local requirements. It's not that everywhere every solution will solve. Agree. 100% agree. So
Many
going
thanks, sir.
forward,
Thank you.
thank you, Shailendra. So going forward, my next question will be from Dr. Saurabh on the building orientation, because we are talking about the build environment. Let us not spread it all around the sustainability and this thing, carbon footprint or anything else. So let's focus only on the building side. So, Dr. Saurabh, how does building orientation impact the energy consumption and thermal comfort, particularly in different climates? What are the best practices for optimizing the orientation in a sustainable design, particularly I'm talking about? Dr.
Sure,
Saurabh.
Kailashi. So we have six climatic conditions in India, and when we design, we look at the microclimatic condition in that very region. So what is the sun good ventilation, good light entry inside the building, which can make the occupant inside the building more comfortable. Of course, just by using these passive technologies, we can achieve 25 to 30% of energy saving. And other than that, after using passive, going for active measures, we can further reduce our electricity saving. These will be my comments, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, Bhavesh, anything from your end on the building orientation?
Enough has been said. I think great insights from there. But at the same time, some previous speaker mentioned on the European, I would say, replication that we are trying to follow. At the same time, there are some positives also. I'm happy to share that within Gurgaon, there is a building that is having 2 megawatt on its glass facade. Imagine the kind of energy, the kind of net zero principles, and the overall integration of various parameters one can achieve. I'll be more than happy to receive thumbs up from our audience who have probably seen the building. I can share the address. Wonderful initiative out there to see and feel for yourself as to how 2 megawatt can be replicated on the south side of the building.
Thank you, Bhavesh. General sir, आपका कोई any addition from your end?
Yes. Yeah, I would like to just mention one thing. You see, now everywhere the pollution is increasing in the cities. And I just want to give a little example. Recently, I visited a very good university in Greater Noida. It's having a very good green complex. All buildings are green buildings. And what I found there, buildings are having good ventilation. Even the classrooms have been very well designed, very well ventilated. And it is a very reputed university and a lot of greenery in the campus also. But what I found that because of the fearing from the pollution outside, because outside pollution level recently in Delhi and NCR region went up very high. So people have closed all doors and windows. And on top of that, they put 2 split type air conditioners in each classroom because it was the students' demand that it becomes warm. So you put split air conditioners. So with the result, what happened? I took the measurement of carbon dioxide content in the rooms, classrooms of the students, green buildings, green room. But with the split air conditioner put in and all doors and windows closed, the carbon dioxide level in those rooms was found to be 1600 to 2000 parts per million against 500
God.
parts per million outside.
Oh God.
And
Oh God. Yeah.
and you see, this is practically happening in each house. I have carried out the survey of more than 20 cities in our country. You go to airport, you go to any public place, you will not find carbon dioxide content in the indoor air less than 1200 ppm. Recently, I attended an international seminar in Sri Lanka. An international seminar was on this topic, climate change. Experts from 26 countries were sitting there. I demonstrated to them that, see, look, we are conducting this seminar in a best hotel, 5-star hotel of the country. And the top green people on climate experts are sitting here. And when we started the conference in the morning, the carbon dioxide content was 800 parts per million. It was just close to safe value. But by the time lunchtime we finished, it rose to 1400, 1500 parts per million.
Yeah.
And I told them that it is still acceptable, or it is not the extreme. I attended a conference in a 5-star hotel on climate change in Guwahati some time back. And it was attended by ISRE. It was organized by ISRE and IIT Guwahati. In that hotel, the carbon dioxide content rose to a level of 3,200 parts per million by lunchtime.
Oh
And
God.
this is, you can imagine, the condition is
Yes.
obnoxious.
Yes.
In most of the meetings where crowd is assembling, you will not find carbon dioxide content less than 1,500 parts per million, which is really dangerous. And it is affecting our human health. And this is the reason why we go to sleep. Generally, when you attend a class in any such crowded place in an auditorium, you go to sleep just after 10 minutes of the lecture starts. So you don't go to sleep because you are comfortable. You go to sleep because you are falling lack of oxygen, more carbon dioxide in that atmosphere, and you are almost not falling asleep. You are fainted.
Correct.
तो बेहोशी में होते हैं आप उस टाइम पर, आप सोते नहीं हैं. Similarly, you must have observed when you drive a car, you travel in a car. I have conducted the experiments. I have shown it to the people. You close the all doors and windows of a car. Within 5 minutes, if you are 2-3 people sitting in the car, the carbon dioxide level inside the car rises to more than 3,000 parts per million. And that is the reason you fall to sleep while traveling in a car. So this is a health hazard. Nobody is realizing this. And now I think people are realizing. Then simultaneously, so I have made it my approach to solve this problem is make it man specific. Now I am trying to educate the people that in your house, when you sleep with split AC particularly on, because split AC is not providing you any fresh air. So it is circulating inside air only, and the CO2 level in your own room, you can check it, you can measure it. Unfortunately, there are no measuring devices available in the country to that extent, but I can provide you a measuring device. You measure the carbon dioxide content in your room where you sleep with the split AC on. Early morning, you get up, you don't feel fresh, you are tired. Why? Because there is lack of oxygen in your room. The carbon dioxide content goes more than 800,000 parts per million, which is permissible. And that's why you feel exhausted. So this is a very dangerous situation. So I am providing equipment. It is being introduced very soon in the service that you can place in your room, and which will ensure that carbon dioxide in your room does not exceed more than 800 parts per million. And if required, it will also provide you the oxygen. So this is, and it will capture the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. It will store into the filters. These filters will go to the organic manure plant, and all these things will be converted to the organic manure. It means whatever pollution is existing in the air, whether it is carbon dioxide or sulfur dioxide or nitrogen dioxide, all are good nutrients to the plants. So I do not capture the carbon dioxide from the air and store it. I convert it into the usable manure by the plants. So whatever.
Okay, yeah. Please
And
go ahead, sir.
if you give these nutrients to the plant, plants will give us oxygen and food. So this is the cycle which was existing for thousands and thousands of the years on this earth. So my aim is to come back to that old system of sustainability.
Yeah, I agree, sir. Rajdeep, there are few questions, I think. Mr. Kushal Rawal want to join. Can you take him in? Yeah, Mr. Kushal, welcome. You are on mute, Mr. Kushal. I think Rajdeep, take him in. Yeah, Mr. Kushal Rawal, welcome. You are on mute. Please go ahead and ask your question if you want, or you want to add something. Mr. Kushal, you are on mute. Still, you are on mute.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Mr.
I
Avinash.
got the unmute button very late. I'm very
Okay,
sorry about
okay.
this.
Mr. Kushal,
First of all,
yeah,
am I audible?
yeah, please. Yeah, you are
Yeah.
audible now.
First
Yeah,
of all,
please,
very thank
please.
you for pulling me up. And my company basically works in the industrial and building automation space, and I'm quite scared after hearing to General Shripal, with the revelation of what he did is the rate at what the CO2 is increasing. And yeah, the of course, which impacts a lot of things around us, and particularly the lifeline of till what year we could survive as such. Now you see, we do nearly about 20% of building automations is throughout the world. 20% is quite a sizable figure. But what I see is I do not see, India as a country, relying on the reports which are non-editable. So all the reports about the energy comes out from the IBMS. We provide the IBMS software, and these are totally editable software. So no matter you might have one of the best meters for getting your incoming power, outgoing power. You might know where the losses are, where to improvise, and whatever. When these reports get submitted, I do not see any kind of a temper-proof solution, which the companies ask us to give. I would just put this to a little bit of a comparison with the 21 CFR Part 11 done in the pharma industry of the US FDA. So wherein they go with non the system is made so thorough that if you temper with the reportings, the entire system crashes. So it is my humble request, with the authorities who probably could influence government, that the policies should be made that they should use, the kind of reporting systems which are totally non-tempered. Like we do systems which are all Excel based. That's what LEED certified green buildings. They all ask us is Excel based reports, and anybody can tweak it. So this is my humble submission.
Yes, agree, Mr. Kushal. This is also a part of the greenwashing, basically, and this greenwashing is a big challenge now. I also agree on this. So, Saurabh, would you like to add on this point? Anything?
Sure. I would say that in buildings, the top 5% tenants, the landlords, are involved in automation of the building and the reporting. They use the software systems in place, and they are bound by their investors to create this report as per the policy requirements and as per the investors' guidance. But yeah, 80% of industry in India is MSME. The buildings which we have are not aware and think that working towards automation solution or reduction in carbon emissions, scope 1, scope 2, is going to increase their cost. I think there is a problem of lack of awareness and lack of affordable solutions which they think can be applied. I'm doubtful if it is a policy issue. Of course, in India, many things happen when there is a policy in place, but I think it is lack of awareness and lack of affordable solutions which people accept and understand the value in the life cycle terms. That's where I think the problem is.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
Saurabh.
just
And
like
at the
to,
same
I
time,
just like to bring
at the
a bit
same
of
time,
context.
I'll add the ethical part of also, because if it is a tampering, definitely is a ethical part, and it has to be dealt accordingly. Yeah, Kosh,
Yeah.
you
So
want to add
Varmaji,
anything?
I'll just like to give you this
Yeah,
perspective that when it comes to uh, you know uh, the the top five people, okay, who decides over what kind of software it should be, whether the software uses reporting which is temper proof or whether they use a simple Excel, the price of the system does not change. There's no price implication at all. So economy-wise, it's the same thing. So I am talking about top six buildings of India today, which are LEED certified buildings. Okay, out of these top six buildings, near about three of them run on my softwares, and I'm telling you, they are using Excel-based reporting. All right, there's no price. If they tell us that okay, you just give us a temper proof reporting, there's no price for that. It's you either take Excel, which makes your life easier, so that you would know you would want to change things, and it's apparent that why they want to use Excel. Or you could use temper-proof reportings, which come from a standard SQL database, and you use some Python coding, and then you make some CRC checks that if you do something wrong, the entire database corrupts. So you see, there is no price implication. Okay, I can tell you as an expert, I can tell you as a holder of a company which supplies to me about 20%, to this building automation sector.
oh,
Yeah,
so yeah,
that's it.
yeah. Your point is only indicating towards ethical part of it. I agree on this. Mr. Avinash Sharma, yeah.
नमस्कार।
Want to say? Namaskar, Avinash ji, namaskar.
मैं
Please.
ये आपका एक जो प्लेटफॉर्म है बहुत ही शानदार और बहुत ही लर्नड लोगों का प्लेटफॉर्म है। एक
Thank you so much.
विषय है जो मैं आप लोगों के सामने रखना चाहता हूँ। मैं पिछले 25 सालों से सीमेंट को कवर करता हूँ, ठीक है
जी,
जी, और
जी,
करीब 7.5% हम पूरे वर्ल्ड का सीमेंट प्रोड्यूस करते हैं
जी,
और करीब करीब 350 प्लांट है इंडिया में, जिनके
करेक्ट,
पास कम से कम भी 1 लाख एकड़ जमीन माइनिंग की लीज है सीमेंट प्लांटों के पास।
जी,
और गवर्नमेंट के नॉर्म्स हैं कि इस पैरामीटर्स पे ही आप ब्लास्टिंग कर सकते हैं,
करेक्ट,
1 फुट 2 फुट के, लेकिन प्रोडक्शन के प्रेशर से ये 3-3 मीटर गहरा करके ब्लास्ट करते हैं
या,
और वाटर लेवल को एकदम 100 फीट से 600 फीट पे ले गए हैं। ये एक मैटर है। दूसरा मैटर ये है कि माइनिंग करने के बाद जो यूज माइनिंग है उनमें पॉल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड के जो नॉर्म्स हैं कि उनको पूरे वृक्षारोपण करना चाहिए, कोई भी नहीं करता है। तो ये
जी,
प्लेटफॉर्म ये है कि ये हम सेकंड प्रोड्यूसर होने के बाद भी, अभी चाइना विजिट करके आया हूं, तो चाइना में ये नियम है कि आपने अगर माइंस यूज कर ली है तो उसको डेवलप करके पेड़ पौधे लगाने के लिए आपको पूरा ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा। पर इंडिया में 2% भी फॉलो नहीं करते हैं और जितने भी नॉर्म्स हैं ब्लास्टिंग के सबको किनारे करके ये 10 टाइम गहरी ब्लास्टिंग करते हैं। इससे इन्वायरमेंट को इतना नुकसान होता है। इस विषय पे भी
see,
सभी विद्वान लोग एक जरूर अपनी राय रखिए गवर्नमेंट के पास कि ये एक बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है, इससे इन्वायरमेंट की काफी सेविंग हो सकती है। ये प्लेटफॉर्म इतना अच्छा था, सुन रहा था तो मेरे व्यू थे, मैंने आपको दिए सब।
बहुत अच्छे अविनाश जी। और सीमेंट जो है उसके कार्बन फुटप्रिंट्स की अगर बात करें तो इंडस्ट्री में सबसे ज्यादा है। अगर माइनिंग को भी साथ में जोड़ दोगे देन यस ये
सर
बहुत
मैंने ये
बहुत
केवल
ज्यादा है, बहुत
एक
सही पॉइंट
एक
है।
माइनिंग की बात की है सीमेंट की। इसके
हाँ,
बाद
वो
यहाँ
सही है।
आसपास
यस,
लाइमस्टोन, चूना,
हाँ,
लेट्राइट,
हाँ, हाँ,
ये
हाँ,
जितने भी माइंस है इस पे बिल्कुल भी लोग अवेयर नहीं हैं। और गवर्नमेंट ने जो पॉल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड और माइनिंग डिपार्टमेंट भी बना रखा है, वो अगर प्रॉपर एफिशिएंसी से काम करे तो हम लोग बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन कर सकते हैं सर।
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल अविनाश जी, मैं बिल्कुल आपकी बात से एग्री करता हूँ सर।
धन्यवाद सर।
So yeah, so moving forward, which was we were discussing about. Now my next question will be from say Bhavesh. So Bhavesh, what are the benefits of utilizing the local material in construction, and how can this practice contribute to the sustainability of the built environment? And additionally, what are the challenges basically may arise in sourcing the local material, and how
Great,
we
great.
can effectively this thing mitigate these challenges? This is
Okay.
what my question is.
Now, again, fortunately or unfortunately, as soon as I go to brick sector, just to begin with the local
Mm,
construction,
mm, mm,
we happen to be part of the initiative as far as zigzag technology is concerned, which is now mandatory to have at Delhi NCR. You get more refined bricks with lesser energy input on the first side of it. Now, except for project sites, the bigger projects, no one
mm,
is still willing to use the kind of brick that is being manufactured at those premises, which are so-called less carbon, less carbon means bricks, the gray bricks, so to say.
okay.
The
Uh-huh.
kind of mindset that is associated is something that needs to be augmented, that needs to be looked into on how to go about it. It's almost a
Mhm,
decade ever since those bricks are available, and we
mhm,
have still not able to figure out how to find the mindset change on those aspects. So this thing again boils down to individual action, efficiency, and mindset on similar aspects. On other
uh,
side, you spoke of
mhm,
an estate organization that has built Horizon 1, Horizon 2. Now, Horizon 1, Horizon 2 is using identical glass through the thick and thin of it, almost 100 meters vertical, and not even a glass that has been changed. Obviously, they need that kind of a facade. Imagine the
yeah.
kind of energy intensity that might have been put in place. Now, that's the challenge as far as local material usage, its credibility, and other things pour in. They bought in 1.5 times of the raw material so as to get that facade which is applicable and been appreciated by the industry bodies. At the same time, I repeat and go again to a building that has 2 megawatt plus of solar, not that good looking probably, but it does the trick. Same goes for other low carbon built environment as far as new universities and schools are concerned. A lot of appreciation for them, but at the same time, the kind of replication that should have taken place, I think we need to be more educated on those aspects. Just a small addition to what Dr. Saab said that CO2 emissions have been adding into four digits. I'm happy to share that within Delhi, there is a
Mhm.
building that has an AQI of less than 50 always. I repeat, less than 50 always. In case comments are open, I'll be more than happy to share the address of that building so as to go see and implement the things that can be done within your house. Good part, enough information is available on YouTube for the gentleman that's called the Paharpur Business Center. Kindly have a look
Mhm.
and see for yourself as to what positive you can do. Someone was speaking on cement sector. Sir, I'm
Yeah.
happy to share as far as unit energy consumption is concerned, cement fertilizers are the sector that world is looking forward to. The kind of investments that have taken place within the Indian context, obviously there is a lot of positives and negatives that have taken place, but within the energy efficiency context, I am happy to share that the per unit production that's being implemented out there is something to be looked forward to from the entire world. We are the most efficient energy per unit of cement as well as fertilizer producer. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Bhavesh. Agree on this, and on or your first part of the answer. about bricks. I also have some experience here in NCR. One of my, you can say, relative or a friend is having that clean. So I was just asking him how people, how which this thing fuel you are using. They're still using coal. I told him it is banned. You know, इंडिया में सब चलता है सर, इधर सब कुछ चलता है. So this what चलता है, that is not actually recorded somewhere, and it is adding the carbon to the environment. So this is where some challenges are also there in policy and implementation side. Thank you very much. Already it's 8:05, so we'll close it now. So I'll just give a last word to General Saab to add your concluding remarks, if any. Then we'll close it for today. We'll see in next sessions if we can add some more value to the sustainability topics thereon. General Siripal.
Thank you very much. I think I can only point out one or two more points for this carbon capture. You see, the strategy that it should be human based. Now, in case we as a human being, we realize that this is a health hazard to us, the indoor environment has become more polluted than even outdoor environment. In fact, indoor air in the houses, in the offices, it is more toxic than even the outside environment. And what we in India have done, we have, you see, after so many years, we have specified this air quality index, AQI, that everybody is talking of carbon, but in our air quality index, we have not even included oxide as a pollutant, which is the main concern. Here contains carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide, ammonia, and even lead. There are 8 parameters, 0.5 and PM10. So it is, the people are not aware. Most of the people, the general public I am talking, they know pollution only as particulate matter. Particulate matter PM2.5 and PM10 are only measured and they are being reported as AQI index. It is very, very disheartening to know the ignorance of the people. Instead of, we are not even measuring all 8 parameters. And out of that, CO2 is, so I have sent the recommendation through to the government of India that we should have a separate air quality indoor air. And in the indoor air quality index, we include carbon dioxide, which is the main pollutant in the, and this is causing the main problem. And the second issue I have said that now, since initially people did not believe that a technology in India exists which can capture carbon dioxide from the air. Now, I think over past 2 years of my effort, they are convinced now, scientists in ISRE and ASHRE are convinced that yes, you can remove carbon dioxide from indoor as well as outdoor environment. Now, one very good achievement in this, you see, if you remove the carbon dioxide from indoor environment, then your air conditioning load is reduced by 30%. The design load of air conditioning capacity is reduced by 30% and electricity load is also reduced by 30%. So there is a huge saving in your AC electricity load if you have the carbon dioxide captured from the indoor environment. I will explain you as a layman. You see what happens in indoor, it is given in ISRE guidelines. They give that in indoor environment, the carbon dioxide level should not exceed more than 1,000 parts per million. And to ensure that, what they do, they add fresh air from outside. It is called air change per hour. So in a building design, 4 to 12 air changes are required per hour. You can imagine, to keep the CO2 level within the limit of 1,000 parts per million. And imagine what is 1,000 parts per million? It is 0.1%. So we are scared of this 0.1% CO2 in the air. Rest of the gas in the air is nitrogen is 80%. Carbon dioxide is about 21%. So CO2 is just 0.03, 0.04% in natural air, and it is not allowed to increase more than 0.1%. So we are worried of 0.1%, and with this worry, we are replacing rest of the 99.9% air in your room. And in India, you know the climatic conditions. Outside temperature is 35, 40, 50 degrees centigrade. Inside, we want a comfortable temperature of 22, 24 degrees centigrade. So every hour, 4 to 10 times, we are taking the hot air from outside, cooling it, and then replacing the inside air. So this replacement of air can be avoided by this new technology. If you do carbon capturing or just the indoor air in your room, then this air need not be changed every time. And you have a huge saving in electricity, and even the AC plant, which is designed for the peak load conditions in summer season, it is reduced. And whatever extra expenditure is incurred by implementing the CO2 removal system, which I am suggesting, it is covered within the cost of this saving of electricity and your AC load. So this is a good technology, but I think a lot of education is to be given to the people. People are not aware.
We'll have one more.
Yeah.
Sir, probably we'll have one more session in the next month or next to next month, because this is a weekly session of 1 hour. So we have already crossed
time
8
was,
yeah, this
but
is
these events organized by Mr. Kailash Chaudhary will spread this awareness, and the people will be aware. And I think very soon some solution will be found out. Thank you very much.
My apologies, sir, because it's not good to extend further. So my apologies to Bhavesh and Dr. Saurabh also. I will not be able to give you the concluding remarks because it's already 8:12, I think. So with this, I'm just concluding this. Thank you very much to all of you. And at the same time, I just want to address the audience who have joined us. Thank you very much. And we have a next week another session which is on a financial freedom. So please do join us in the next week also. And we will be now publishing these events 2 weeks or 3 weeks before, so that the people know the topics and interested topics they can join in. So thank you very much, all of you. General Saab, thank you very much. Bhavesh, thanks Dr. Saurabh.
Indeed, thanks to the audience, and thanks Kailashji for hosting it so wonderfully. Thank you.
Thank you all audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Kailashji. Thank you, everyone.